up, we have Andrew Hagen, steward and executive board member with NELC Branch 9 in Minneapolis. Give it up for Andrew. All right.
As I said, I'm a proud member of the NELC Branch 9, and more importantly, I'm a proud letter carrier of my community in Minneapolis across the river. I want to first recognize an important anniversary earlier this month. March 9th marked the 60th anniversary of Bloody Sunday. They were protesting and fighting against the government for basic human rights and freedom. They marched with courage protesting the government. Today, we are still fighting to advance voter rights. An example is H.R. 738, the Universal Right to Vote by Mail Act of 2025. Why is this important to pass? There are many reasons, but one is there are some states, we won't name them, that refuse to hand out water for voters in long lines. You don't have to worry about that if you're in the comfort of your home and residence. I hope Congress passes this bill this session. Now, instead of shouting Postal Service, yell letter carriers. We are the letter carriers who are a part of your neighborhood and daily lives. Who do you love? We are currently working on an expired union contract for over 650 days and counting. Who do you love? We have been assaulted and murdered on the streets while delivering mail, like our brothers Andre Cross in Milwaukee, December 9, 2022, and most recently Ray Hodges in New York City on January 2nd of this year, both murdered while working on the clock. Who do you love? We have had letter carriers die from heat illness while working, like our brother Mr. Gates in Texas. Who do you love? We have had carriers sent home for weeks without pay for a violation management could not prove. Who do you love? I ask all of you to call your congressional representatives and tell them to pass H.R. 70, the Anti-Privatization Act. We must remain an independent agency of the government. To pass H.R. 1522, the Federal Retirement Fairness Act. How many of you in the crowd today work for the Postal Service have non-career time? Raise your hand. It's a lot. I myself have 18 months of non-career time. What does that mean? I always say I started carrying mail since February of 2021. But in the eyes of the Postal Service, I've only been a carrier since June 16th of 2022. Ooh, right. I've been cheated out of 18 months of retirement benefits. Some of the people that rose their hand today have 5 years, 7 years, more than 18 months. It's tragic. We are calling on Congress to pass H.R. 1522 so I and thousands of carriers can buy back their time and add it to their retirement. We urge Congress to not pass Senate Bill 1006, a bill to prohibit federal employees from organizing, joining, or participating in labor unions for purposes of collective bargaining or representation and for other purposes. This bill was introduced by a senator from Tennessee. In today's political climate, bipartisan legislation isn't frequently discussed. These bills I've mentioned were introduced as bipartisan bills. The post office is about the only thing that gets both sides of the aisle to come together. For God's sakes, Josh Hawley, the Republican senator from Missouri, supports the Postal Service. He told the Joy late last year in a Senate committee hearing that he'd do everything in his power to stop the Joy from destroying the Postal Service. Today, we send a clear message to our government representatives here today and in D.C. Hands off the Postal Service today, tomorrow, and forever. Pass H.R. 70 and H.R. 1522. America is depending on you. Who do you love? Who do you love? Thank you, everyone.
All right, moving right along. Up next, we've got Marcia Howard, president of the Teachers Chapter of the Minneapolis Federation of Teachers. Let's go.
But as a public educator for the last 26 years, as a retired United States Marine non-commissioned officer, I know that the profit is the people. The profit is the service. I need you to understand, they coming for the Postal Service now, they coming after public education next. Come on. If they coming after if they coming after public education, they coming after, I worked at the VA while I was at the University of Minnesota. And already I got some homies who said, they coming after us next. And then next, and then next, and then next. You know what's so funny? The predominant colors that I see out here, for whatever reason, is red and blue. Hold up, though. I'm finna get real with y'all. Red and blue. I am the vice president of the Minnesota Regional Labor Federation. I'm on the governing board of AFL-CIO. Hold up. I am the president of Minneapolis Federation of Teachers Local 59, Teacher Chapter. I see my homies. And something that I'm very careful about is sometimes the only thing blue about my comrades, or blue about my neighbors, or blue about the people I love is the color of their t-shirt. Now I want you to listen to me. There's some people who really like red. And you gotta be careful right now that they are being affected by what's happening. Because I'm gonna tell you, I also spend half of my day at 38th and Chicago Avenue in protest. And sometimes somebody ain't at 38th. They all the way on 62nd, and I gotta make sure that they can get to 38th Street, metaphorically. They might be on 30, they might be on 60th. I might only get them to 42nd. You feel me? If you give up, if you care about somebody, if you even have a modicum of respect for somebody, if you arm and on the line and you working with somebody, you might only get them a few blocks to 38th Street. You feel me? I ain't never in my 26 years of being an educator taught somebody that I made feel dumb first. You feel me? In this moment, in 2025, y'all need to be real careful. Because we gonna have to get everybody to 38. We gonna have to get everybody in these crowds. I don't care what color they are. You feel me? Because ain't nobody voted for Elon Musk. Not one of us. So I had something to say, but there was a brother up here already that said what I had to say. You feel me? I was just in Chicago, and we were talking about May 1st. Because tick-tock. There were some plans for 2028. And those plans have just gotten expedited. Get your people and get ready. Tick-tock. 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 It's moment time. And we need to meet that moment. They need to hear that the time is running out on the bullshit. Whose nation is this?
Our nation!
Whose post office is this?
Our post office!
This is ours. It's ours.
That's right!
Ours.
Yeah!
Who's got the power?
The
you forget it. Tick tock.
Our last speaker, my friend and Executive Vice President of NELC Branch 9 in Minneapolis, Chris Pennick. Give it up for Chris. All right, hello everyone. If you want to understand what's going on with the talk of privatization at the Postal Service, you have to understand that the bankers and the bosses at Wells Fargo and the White House, how they look at the USPS very differently than anyone else here looks at it. When we look at the Postal Service, we see our friendly neighborhood letter carrier. We see it as the way we ship our Christmas presents or get medications in the mail. When Wall Street looks at it, they see $80 billion in revenue per year the USPS generates that isn't ending up in their pockets. They see 600,000 union jobs that would be barriers to their profitability. They have a plan to chop up the Postal Service, sell off its real estate, sell off its profitable package delivery, and leave the post office with only the unprofitable rural delivery. Across the world, postal privatization has proven to be a disaster for service. Prices increase, workers are laid off, post offices are closed, delivery days are reduced, and mail is delayed. Workers' compensation and conditions are degraded. In response to these attacks, the NELC organized this rally to say, hands off the Postal Service. And as Tyler said earlier, it's not just us in Minneapolis coming out today. I counted on the website. There's 210 rallies going on across the country just like this one. We're all raising our voices as one to say, U.S. mail, not for sale. Not for sale. U.S. mail.
Not for sale.
U.S. mail.
Not for sale.
All right, all right. And there are more attacks coming at the unions than just the threat of privatization. There are two fraudulently named bills that are working their way through the U.S. House of Representatives right now that pose a danger. The Paycheck Protection Act would prohibit the Postal Service and other federal agencies from automatically deducting union dues from your paycheck. And then there's the Protecting Taxpayers' Wallet Act. This bill would charge federal unions for our use of grievance time. So if I had to do a grievance as a steward, the union would have to decide, can we afford to file this grievance? Can we afford to pay for it? That would devastate workers and our ability to have a contract. I think the workers need our own political party. A workers' party to organize the fight back against attacks like this. A workers' party could also help to organize support for union contract campaigns, such as the one NELC is going through right now. The letter carrier contract has been expired for 2 years. We came out of the pandemic as essential workers that went to work